We will call the meeting to order. Carolyn?
The main thing is, and I don't know that this necessarily needs commissioner consent because the template is written as the county clerk sends this out, but I thought I'd just share with you all. But so this is the CDBG CV program, and so it's basically a grant for businesses that have the low income designation. And Stafford County got a $79,200 allocation, but it's community development block grant. It is a much more structured, ongoing program. You have to have a designated administrator for that. And you have to go through the process of selecting an administrator. So basically giving notice to those who are, certified as a CDBG administrator, giving them the opportunity to respond, and then you go and select one. So, I have the template that I put in all of the Stafford County names and so forth. It would, like I said, like 4 copies, sorry, 3. It's probably in the copy machine. Anyway, so we can put it out. There's, we're in District 4, so there's I don't know, a dozen different places we can email this to, give them the opportunity to respond, and then you'll select which administrator and the
And we
funding.
have a list of administrators.
And that's what this is.
Is there anybody around here?
Well, yeah, Great Plains Development is the one by far that we're the most connected to, you're familiar with. And you pay a fee to them to participate with, them each year. But there's a handful of independent ones, like Edwards County Economic Development. It appears that their executive director got certified somewhere, she's on the list. As DAC.
You're not certified?
I am not certified as a federal grants administrator.
Okay.
There's a particular
So
process.
nobody in Stafford County?
No, and honestly, it's worth every penny to pay them
Okay,
on these types of projects. And it'll come out of the funds that are provided.
We can't do the selection on August 19th at 8:30 because that's our budget hearing.
Okay,
So you could put it at 9 o'clock.
okay,
That's the only thing I see.
okay.
Does this need to be on my letterhead or?
It can be, yeah. I figured I can take care of emailing out to this list, but I did have them respond to you.
I see that, okay.
I have called the Department of Commerce contact, seriously, 4 times wanting to clarify this process. And, I do think that there is a way that you can pay yourself, if somebody but here's the thing, I'm not a county employee, so I don't even know that you could pay me to do it, because I am an outside agency. It's not like having someone in the county staff do it. So I would like to have clarified that, but I can't get anybody at the Department of Commerce to return a phone call or email. And so Great Plains Development is honestly my best source of information right now, and they do this routinely, so I
Can
feel
I
like.
see your list?
Yeah. We're in District 4.
So this would be used for what?
It is basically just a grant to qualifying businesses, but the big qualification caveat is that they have to qualify as low income. Either the business owner needs to be low income, or 51% of their employees have to be low income. And it's not necessarily a very easy threshold to, like some of the places that have, I've talked to Kansas Co-op, for example, with the gas stations that have probably not high income employees, but they've told me outright that they don't qualify. I should have brought the income schedule. It is almost impossible to pay someone a minimum wage and actually still have them qualify on that. And especially you consider some people work more than one job. It is not just the income that you pay that person, it's the income that that person has overall. And so it's gonna be hard. I think the main qualifying entities in Stafford County are gonna be those that are self-employed, even if they're not in low income in any other year. If this year took such a hit that it puts them in low income category, then they might qualify. And I think there's at least one business that will easily qualify for the maximum amount under that. The maximum amount is $30,000. So we have enough in this to fund 2 businesses at the max amount and some other smaller amounts potentially. But I don't think we'll have a lot of activity, and it's not a huge allocation. But if we can help a business or 2, I guess maybe it's worth the hoops.
Old farmer.
Yeah, that's a good question, whether or
Where's
not,
weeds below?
I see, I think there is some specific, like if they did get an EIDL or a PPP, they can still qualify for this, but they can't count the same expenses twice, like to qualify, like they couldn't, if they got utilities paid for in, or probably easier, for example, if they got salaries paid for through PPP, they couldn't offset salary expense with this program. And with that, I'll have to look and see if any agriculture, I think there's some definite limitations on agriculture, but similarly, there have been some things that agriculture qualified for, and we would just have to make sure that there's not overlap. But that's also what you pay the administrator to make sure.
Do you want to email this to me and then I'll throw it on my letterhead?
Sure,
But we do need to change that to like
okay.
9 o'clock or so.
Okay. I would have put it for next week, but they gave me, Great Plains Development said that wasn't enough time. At least you don't have to do like a like a public hearing and solicit input and stuff like that. That was some of the stuff I wanted to verify that with the state that we didn't need to do. They're administrating other counties' programs as well, so I'm gonna trust that Great Plains has their information straight. We don't have to do a public hearing. But I did give them almost 2 weeks to respond. The other stuff is just kind of update to you guys. We have the cities and schools working on their Spark budgets, I guess I'll call it. They're supposed to have it to me within this week so that I could send it to Swindle, Jansen, Hawk, and Lloyd. They can review it. If there's anything that's obviously not eligible or whatever, we have some time to edit that before next week when we'll ask for the commissioners to approve that before sending it into the state. So.
Have you been fielding many questions on that, or has everybody kind of got an idea?
Not a lot.
Right. Kind of the way that Spark meeting that we went to, that we had, there was a lot of conversation as far as how we're gonna split that up between the cities and the schools and this and that. And we ended up basically just going with the districts, District 1, District 2, District 3. Gets equal amount of money, and then it's in those districts, the schools and cities need to work together to figure out what they need, because it was just gonna be a nightmare trying to figure all the entities of what percentages they got.
Population would be about the same in all 3 of them.
And that's basically what your Spark funding is based off, is on population.
But a quarter of it is also the county. We designated a quarter of it.
Yeah, it was divided, the money was divided 4
We already
ways
paid it.
instead of 3
It's for
that way, because I mean, the county does have a lot of stuff.
So the county gets a fourth and the other
Okay.
3 districts all get a fourth?
So it'd be
Oh, right,
200,000.
yeah.
It's like
although-
185.
And-
Right, so we deducted the administrative costs
Oh,
off the
okay.
top.
But the original was 800,000.
823 if memory serves, yeah. So I get the sense the schools are gonna be the ones with the most needs, which makes sense. I mean, at one point, it was like, that's where the most concentrated human activity is in our towns, you
Yes.
know, really, you know, so, I think the schools will have the biggest portion of it, but we've been talking with cities and, you know, even down to like smaller, there are gonna be smaller reimbursements, but rec commissions, senior centers, ministerial alliance, you know, trying to give them a portion of it too. So,
Use the max up or not?
well, what I think we need to do is, we've talked about this, is that, you know, be ready. What we'll send it in, the state will review it, and if they outright reject something, we've got an opportunity to amend it with something that is eligible, and then if we don't have something, then they take the money back. So I just think we need to be ready with stuff that's clearly eligible. I mean, even the idea of a business grant program would be clearly eligible, and it'd be a way that we make sure that we capture funding to distribute locally.
Carolyn had discussed with me that she thought that some of the grant funding or some of the project that's economic development is doing could be qualified. But I imagine that everybody will kind of max out their deal. I told Carolyn that she should have the numbers ready to go on her deal to where, you know, if you get it kicked out, you got 3 days left, nobody else has anything to put back in for their deal, that we should at least try for it.
Yep.
That was one of the things, it was never plain, because I caught a meeting late when you were talking about the schools. Is there a difference, because the Maxwell schools, half their students are out-of-county students?
It does go by where the administrative offices are for the school.
Okay.
So I have asked that question too, like, would Maxville have anything that would be covered to them by Edwards County or whatever, for example?
Because we have Edwards, Pratt,
Right?
Pawnee County. kids.
And it is by where the district
The
office,
district office,
so.
okay. Yeah, that was quite plain.
So how many students you have from outside the county, you know?
Maxwell School District.
Huh?
Maxwell School District is
Geographically,
huge.
yeah.
So 10 or 12 per county or,
Out-of-county students?
yeah,
Oh, half of.
No, we're
Huh?
talking closer,
Half of.
probably 100 or more.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're just 2 miles from the Edwards County.
Yeah, yeah.
We're 3 miles from the Pawnee County line.
Yeah, it's.
And then
Whole
to the
lot of
southwest
kids
corner,
right
we
down
have them
south.
coming out of Pratt.
Hamlet area.
But see, the school board goes clear, or the Maxville district, I mean, it encompasses Radium and Seward.
Yeah.
the whole
Well, I knew
Washington
that.
County.
Right.
And it goes down into Edwards and.
It's a big area.
So on that note, things that are, you know, fairly eligible and so forth is Radium and Seward, Hudson too, will tell me that their greatest need is better telecommunications capacity. You know, and the quickest way to get that to them is wireless. So I've come to realize Hudson's problem in wireless is that they don't have fiber optic, at least like with Golden Bell Telephone, they don't have fiber optic line going to the town. So you need something to connect with the tower that transmits the signal back. Right now, they're using Nextech as their partner to like send it back. So it's a cell signal, not a fiber optic line to the city. And that's why some of their customers who have wireless, they're paying for wireless service, aren't getting very good service. And they know they would like to improve the line there too. So that's one example. The towers in Radium South Seward area, I think that my understanding of it is that they're just simply full at capacity. They need to add more like another transmitter or whatever. I think we can position to get that done in round 2 and allow more, but it is a little bit of risk, you know. We don't know exactly what they're gonna do in all in round 2. We know that they're funding $65 million worth of telecommunications, and Golden Bell Telephone has given me a quote that it would take $800,000 to put in 4 more towers, I think it is. I'll have to look, but I do know that it's an $800,000 number, and if they could get $400,000 in grant funding, they would match it 50%. And so I think that fits really well within round 2, but it might be an example of if we think we're gonna lose stuff in round 1, be ready with that as something to put in that would for sure get funded, because we know it's an important thing to try to get taken care of. So Radium, Seward, Maxville, Hudson are high on that list. There's also an area in the southwest part of the county that doesn't have any coverage at all. That is one that goes into Edwards and Pratt and what's the other one? I guess it's those two counties that corner. So yes, there's some other counties that should be looking at this too, but what do you do? We have kids in the Maxville School District that don't have good, internet coverage. So if we can get it taken care of, I think it makes sense to try to
They've
do that.
had that problem in town too still. I mean, it's just,
Well, even
you
Stafford
can't even
has
get it in
weeks
the
of-
gym in there, you gotta walk outside.
Yeah. Are we talking more cell signal or?
Cell.
Well, see, that's
Yeah.
that's two
Right,
different
right.
issues, but I understand the cell signal in Stafford stinks.
Well, if you want away from your flip phone, you'd probably get better service.
I have one on the wall that you go,
Oh.
You climb up the pole.
yeah, like Green Acres.
Yeah.
No,
So this is kind of skipping, but it's telecommunications and it's on your, technology, and it's on my list. So one of the things that we have kind of developed is an affiliation with the city of Dodge City, which is implementing a RN to BSN program. So you can get your Bachelor of Science in Nursing with remote classes. And I've come to kind of appreciate a little bit more how this format works. It's, online learning isn't entirely unique, but like Preston is taking online classes this summer, and he never signs on at a given time to participate in a class with the professor that's speaking. He, basically it's all email type thing and, taking quizzes on your own. This type of class that they're doing now is more the traditional style of class where there's an instructor giving instruction at this, to a class of participants that are interacting all at the same time. But to do this, that you don't have to go to those there's gonna be, I think it's about 6 satellite locations that you can participate in. And we're setting up the conference room at the 311 building
Those are
to be one of those outlets.
We have all that smart
So,
funding, and those are agreements. with the
we already
city
had a
and the
smart
schools
TV in there,
need
we've been
to
doing
sign.
Zoom calls and conferences and so forth, but they want this exact same technology
got
in
it.
all of these outreach locations. So by
No,
participating,
we've got it.
we got a
It's just,
new
it's
smart
just
TV,
protecting us if they
webcam,
don't spend it on what they
computer,
say
and
they're
so
going
forth to
to.
run it.
Okay.
And we've had it installed in our office in Broadway. So with that, we have a fairly new smart TV that we could install somewhere else, and I thought it would be worth floating the idea of whether that would be something useful to put in the annex for,
no.
we could either put it in like my old office for more small meetings, but I think maybe, there's more and more Zoom calls happening and maybe some ability to have a larger group of people. To put it in the community room might be something to consider.
We're gonna have to look at doing something with the intercom system over there and the speakers to where if you do have a Zoom meeting or somebody on there, a speaker to where it comes over. I don't know if we have the capability there now and nobody knows what to do with it, but on
It's not
that,
there.
It's a separate, just a sound system, it's not integrated with the AV.
yeah, I mean, the one, that Spark meeting, I mean, the people that are managing the money swindled, just trying to listen to, all of a sudden they're trying to listen to him off the laptop was ridiculous.
Might just be an issue of getting a nice Bluetooth
Yeah,
thing that, or something that plugs into your laptop, and they make some little speakers now that are really loud.
yeah.
But to have that, consistently available
Yeah.
at the annex, I think would be helpful. Is, you know, like I know what the system is there to know that I need to bring a HDMI cable, for example, to be able to hook up at all. But if someone didn't know that, they would
I
come
have
there and
some
not,
that I loaned out.
yeah. But I don't know if this is what you would choose to buy if you were really just wanting to set things up from scratch, but we have it and we're willing to provide it if that's of interest. We are down to have a board meeting on Thursday, still doing that. I don't have a contact in all cases.
4:30,
Yeah.
Port Authority meeting.
So, the most recent webinar I listened into said that there has to be a hard and fast spend by 12/31, not just an obligation, not, or encumberment, not put it in escrow after choosing a contractor, but a hard and fast spend. So that's gonna be very hard to do. Yeah, you can't on this, but we could pay for potentially like engineering stuff. There may be reason to continue to kind of look into what can be funded. In the last week,
Still planning on meeting them Thursday?
I have K-Staters come, and we are building a house on Thursday.
So you think I'm pushing it back or what?
I don't know,
I don't have
That'd be
the
fine with
chairs,
me.
I'm sorry.
That'd be fine with me, because I got some stuff going on Thursday afternoon.
We find it. No, it's okay.
Okay, fine with me.
Okay, but, I've had conversations with two new potential tenants. I don't feel like I should probably give a lot of detail about that in this context of a meeting, but I've also been introduced to the manager of economic development for Burlington Northern Santa Fe Southern Region, which was a really helpful contact to have. We participated in a call together Monday this week, and he's given a lot of information about what their requirements will be, and is not he's not approaching it like, we're not interested in this. I mean, he's ready to keep talking about it, I
Good.
think, so. So I don't want to entirely put it off, but if we don't do it Thursday, it won't hurt my feelings either.
That'd be,
When are you getting back?
I'm getting back the 10th, or I'll be back the 11th.
The 11th
Of August.
August, okay.
Push it back a week?
That'd be fine with me, next Wednesday. Can we do it at 7 instead of 6? Because that's like the middle of the day. You're taking half the day off.
Okay. It's fine. So you put it on the 13th? 13th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, when I gotta go in the house at 5, it's like I feel like I'm wasting half the day.
I know, what am I gonna do now? Day's just starting.
Yeah, the other parts of it, I guess housing, as far as we are we're using the money from moderate income housing program toward the K-State project, and that is money that has been given to this county of Stafford, so really are involved with it from that perspective, but the walls and everything should start going up on Thursday, so I'm gonna stop by and see the activity of it. I did get some clarification from the state. They didn't say hard and fast, no, you couldn't spend spark money on this. It was kind of an odd clarification. It basically said, I should have brought it, but basically it said something to the effect of, if it would only work if your expenses exceed what was budgeted, which they will. And you'll have to justify it to federal auditors if you had an audit. Okay, but you were supposed to help us understand whether or not that would be. So, I don't know. And there's still a guidance interpretation request I've submitted to ask if housing for essential employees could be eligible. I haven't gotten word back on that, so.
So we're gonna do our Port Authority meeting the 12th at 7 o'clock at the annex.
I wrote down the
12th or
13th.
13th.
Oh,
We just
okay,
moved it
okay,
back-
yep,
Back a week.
yep, I was thinking it was 13th,
I
okay.
mean, either way is fine with me, but I wrote down the 13th.
Yep, 13th.
That's what I wrote down, is the 13th.
At
That's
7.
what I wrote down.
Okay.
You're out, you're overruled.
I was thinking about our, did you ever hear anything back about our meeting with Amy? With the extension?
Oh,
I thought we were
yeah.
supposed to have a meeting tonight, but I've never heard anything back.
Honestly, she came in Monday and I cannot remember what she said.
Yeah,
I'll get
'cause
back
she
to it
was
with
wanting
you.
to have the meeting and it was either gonna be Wednesday
I think it's the
or
12th,
the 12th next
I
Wednesday.
think.
I think,
I believe so.
I think it's next week.
But I'll have to get back with her because she came in and I think, I think it's the 12th.
Am I supposed to be involved in this? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Josh? You're on the hot seat.
Both of them are, where's she go?
Yeah.
There she is.
I'm hiding.
You're hiding.
All the soup.
Mr. Reinhardt from Maxville is, they've got enrollment today, so you can run away from that, but I think we're all on the same page with this. Last week, we had talked about the governor's order and how prescriptive that is, and too specific and not specific enough at the same time. And we would like a little wiggle room to do what we think is right. And I think we're all kind of on the same page that everything that's covered in there, we're doing in some regard. Just, for example, the temperatures, taking them at the door before they come in. We don't feel, at least here in St. John, that we're going to be able to do that. The first time it rains, we're going to cram all those kids in the hallway. Now we're defeating the purpose of what we're trying to do in the first place. And the masks, it's required for all kids, 3-year-old preschool on up. We want a little wiggle room on that. At least, you know, I think we're all talking about trying to require them in some capacity for our students and staff. This is what our plan looks like. My board could not come to an agreement on the mask part of this.
Really?
And ours was the same way.
It's a tough decision. You know, I think there's feelings on both sides of the issue that we need to require them in some capacity. On the other side, thinking that we're okay here, we don't need to require that quite yet. But so I highlighted the cells that pertain to the governor's order, the social distancing, the masks, the hygiene, and then the temperature screening. That's what we're doing.
On your different risk levels, how are you gonna determine what risk level you're at?
Depending on the spread of the disease in the community.
I mean, do you have a hard number?
Increase, no, just if the daily increase of new cases is increasing, then we move to the next level.
Okay.
We do that with Shannon.
Yeah, we do that. And our conversation is we're just limited on subs, so we have to draw a line on adults. I think we can keep managing if half the kids are quarantined, but it's gonna be different. We don't have the manpower if we have to have 3 or 4 adults out of the building. But Josh arranged a meeting, so the 3 superintendents, Shannon, and we have a very similar plan, you know. But again, the mask was an hour-long conversation at the last board meeting.
So you are gonna do the screening, the families are supposed to do it at home.
Right.
It's encouraged to do that, yeah.
And how do you get that information?
We won't. We have those Kinza thermometers Shannon's talked about, but the logistics of parents take it at home, it sends the record to the nurse's
Getting the
office.
Bluetooth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then how do we know who had their temperature taken and who didn't, and do that before 10 o'clock in the morning is just not very feasible. So we require the parents to take them at home. We know it's not always gonna happen, we forget or get busy or, and then we'll take them in the classroom first thing. And the teacher will do that. Then we know if the teacher's gone, it's in the sub-plans, the thermometer's right there, and they know to do it. I can guarantee it gets done if we do it this way.
So you'll do the instant read oral thermometer,
No, surface,
surface?
yeah.
In the classroom.
Yeah, and then we
I
ordered
think-
a second one if there was a reason to take it again, like, ooh, that didn't come out right, then our nurse has one that's more accurate, I'm just gonna do oral.
I think that would, taking it in the classroom would be a lot better. I mean, at least what I feel. If you have hot days and the kids are running around outside, they're all gonna show that they got a fever.
Right.
Or if it's 30 degrees outside,
Right,
come this December, you won't get an accurate reading.
right,
Once they get in the room and get acclimated a little bit.
yeah. And for us, the concern is we're doing all this work to keep third graders with third graders, not around other kids. And now we're gonna line them up with first and second graders as they come in the door to take their temperatures. We felt, at least here, that was counterproductive. We wanna send them in the classroom, now third graders are just around third graders.
Well, I'm certain that there'll be parents who will insist that their students wear masks.
And then we hear some that insist their students won't wear a mask. But our teachers feel they're protected if, we have some type of.
So will the teachers wear masks or not?
Yeah, we're saying that,
My recommendation to the board Monday night was we require masks for all students 5th grade and up, and then all staff. And there would be exceptions for, if you can keep 6 feet apart, if we've got 4 kids in the shop class and they're all in different parts of the shop, there's not really a need for them all to wear masks if they can maintain that distance. But the governor's order says masks all day, all the time, everybody.
Are you gonna revisit that issue at another school board meeting?
Yes, yeah.
ours is Monday night.
And I didn't know, I know you guys wanted to see what our plans were before deciding to go away from this. And I know you all need to know that we're gonna do our best to follow it as best we can. So I guess if our board says masks aren't required for anybody, I know you guys don't wanna get in the middle of this and make the decisions for us, but.
Right. But all 3 districts are in agreement with this plan.
Maxville's
Pretty
plan,
much.
we saw, he shared with us, is that it's all 3 they were following the executive order in their plan.
Require masks for everybody,
All
but they would
3-year-olds and
like
up.
some leeway, and they would probably do something like this that just require for the upper grades,
The
do their best with the younger grades.
president of the Maxwell School Board's contacted me several times, and he said right now they've passed, basically just following the governor's orders, real restrictive, but they're planning on, they would like to start stepping down fairly quick. So that's what they're planning on doing. And I think they just voted to follow the governor's orders because they didn't know what we were wanting to do, and they wanted to get something passed where school could start. But I mean, it would surprise me if they don't bring something like this to us before school actually starts. They just wanted to get something done where they can make plans for, because they're doing enrollment today.
You think they'll have a plan then before school starts? Or are they just gonna
They-
play it by ear?
They
after
do
school?
have a plan right now
Yeah.
that they passed.
That they're,
It's
it's
strictly
basically just the governor's order.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
But they would like
All of
some
it.
leeway like
Yeah.
we're asking for.
but they have seen this where they kind of have an idea what you guys are doing.
Yeah,
Those
he was
schools.
with us, or,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Okay.
has it too. So he just shared what their board approved with us, and
Well, I hope you can get a vote one way or the other, so you know what to do.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what our
we
board
have
said,
to,
we'll see what you
yeah.
guys decide, that's
Yeah.
kind of what we left it last week.
See what, who decides?
Whatever decides here, what you guys say.
I think it's the board's decision.
Well, if the county does not pass a resolution to opt out of this governor's order, we have to
Yeah,
follow
the
it.
board can't opt out.
We can't just choose to opt out, we have to follow that.
I don't have a problem with doing a resolution about that. As long as you guys have a plan that we can approve, you know, before we opt out and then approve the plan.
That has to be a resolution, you think?
Unless we have a spike, then all bets are off.
Of course, that's
Is that
when
next
the,
week or?
I'll have to.
when you have the spike, you
Yeah.
go to the high. But I do think that we should probably wait to approve this till you guys get it passed through the school board.
Okay, so if I come next week and my plan says masks are not required for anybody at any time, are you guys still comfortable opting out of the resolution?
I would go with whatever the school board wants to do.
Whatever you guys decide.
And we can have a resolution then by Wednesday too.
Do they need to bring the resolution, or do you need to print
I
it?
think we need brought up.
I'll work on it.
Okay.
But I think some other counties have opted out, haven't
Was
they?
that new
They
that
have.
you brought last week?
Who was it?
Nemaha?
Okay, I'll call.
And they passed a new resolution to replace that one from last week.
I'm sure there's constant changes.
There is, because it did say last week, following the navigating change, the KSDE's document. And then on Friday, KSDE reworded the mask thing. You know, it changed
Maybe
again.
one more week will be slightly clearer.
And there's still that legal question. The governor's office says counties can't opt out. Districts have to follow the order. Attorney General says they can.
Yep. Mike, you have any thoughts on that or legally?
And we're going to have some medically that cannot wear them. You know, we have asthmatics, we have mental health that we deal with, and so it's, we're gonna have some not wearing them.
Has the board, or did the board ever discuss the shield thing? You know, like the helmet with the plastic shield in front of it?
Yeah, shields are not a substitute for masks. We do have some shields that have fabric on them that we've got ordered that should substitute for a mask. Because it's, you know, the face shield, there's no, it doesn't keep the air in, but the mask with fabric around it does keep the air in.
I think it'd be more uncomfortable than a mask.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I don't like wearing cut torch helmet with a clear plastic
Yeah, but
shield.
that for 8 hours.
I don't like wearing a mask for 8 hours either.
Okay.
Well, personally, I
You wear a
think,
football helmet.
Right.
I think that should be
How many hours?
encouraged. I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna have to wear a mask, but I encourage you to wear a mask. I mean, it's proven, it does prevent the spread of disease. I mean, you
Right.
look at that in OR rooms and isolations and stuff, that it does prevent the spread.
Right.
And I wouldn't say, no, you don't have to wear a mask, but I would encourage you to wear a mask. I mean, it's common sense,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of common sense has gone away. It's either a knee-jerk reaction or it goes way out into left field.
Our conversation, when you had that meeting early in July with Shannon, was that, you know, with the little ones, you know, it was, I think she was comfortable too, but I know that you get new information, you know, about that, but it is following it to the letter. Like Josh said, it's gonna be really challenging with 3-year-olds to keep them on all the time. We ordered gaiters, but I guess they can be carriers, you know, it protects the teachers, but it's just we're concerned we can't follow it to the letter. So, And we'll do the same thing. Right now, we think we can manage the temperature checks before they come in. The same thing, it's gonna be raining or bad weather, we're gonna have to scramble and have a plan, so.
I'm expecting your first plans won't be your last ones. I
No.
think this is gonna be a fluid deal that we'll keep going.
This is just a, basically a bullet point list, the other plan will be, have more specifics, and it's gonna be 10 or 12 pages. Nobody will ever read.
So will
I got
staff,
it ready to go today.
so will Stafford bring in their plan?
We
or-
worked on it together, and
Okay.
so I'll print off what we have, and it's just gonna basically, the one that's still up in the air is the mask. We think we figured out thermometer checks, we figured out the hand washing. The mask is the only thing we don't have figured out, but we worked on it all together, so, because we thought we need to be a united front for the county.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Yeah,
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Is this for everybody? Hey, Ron, before you leave, I noticed on the deals here, have we been housing some inmates at Barton County? Was Rice full, or just the spots that opened up, or?
Some of them is because they probably had more in Barton County also. Sometimes we go there.
Okay.
It's the same pricing.
Okay,
I don't know where they got off on the pricing at one time, but it's still 35 a day.
okay.
That's a liar.
I mean, I knew that we mainly did Rice County. I was wondering if you guys worked something out different.
We're still trying to
parts.
work out the
Contested much.
system with Randy. I gotta check with him today again about getting our teleconference, so we have plenty of copies.
I can make you a copy of that Saturday.
Okay.
I told him just buy that up and each all pay for the equipment and just get it done. Just like it. It'll save some trip.
I mean, is there any way, let's see. I guess if they're in Rice County, the equipment has to be up there for Zooming. Would we have to have something here where the judge could see it on the other end, or what's the holdup
Yeah, it's
on
normally
that?
by the computer, there's like just a little Zoom deal. Rice has it set up already, they can do first appearances from there, no problem.
Okay.
Barton County just, they do have the system, but our system is not the same as what they have in place there for their courthouse.
Okay.
Randy was supposed to be checking, and
Philip said,
he's never really
this
said
fall or winter, we have the guys come out
Okay.
what it is.
and clean that
We don't
off.
have
I'm
it.
gonna put up like a,
Actually, we had more than Barton for change.
Yes.
Nice, so.
We did take one Rice County the other day.
keep that big cat on your car.
well, it just needs to be cleaned up. It was
Just
awful.
because he was a problem.
What's this?
Those are my minutes from last week. Remember, I had to do them by hand.
Yeah. So do you want me to approve those minutes? What's the date on those?
It's written on the front.
Okay, so these are just your handwritten notes, you typed it. All right, I thought those were two different meetings.
Those are cliff notes.
Yeah. I make a motion that we accept the minutes for the July 29th meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the minutes from July 29th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
So this needs to be read or put in?
No, I just want you guys to be aware that I finally have
We
permission
have an agreement.
to clean that up out here. And I talked to Philip, and he said that wouldn't be a problem, because I want these shrubs taken out that are full of bagworms, so. It'll just be a little winter project for the boys.
Give them something to do.
They don't have nothing in.
He said in the winter it'd be great,
Yeah.
and they could put the fence up that I'm wanting to put up in between the properties. It's not a big deal.
What
What?
In between our parking lot and this house here, all that overgrown stuff.
Can they take the ones out from the county
Yes.
attorney's office?
That's on the
The ones that
agenda.
house all the black ants, the,
And the bagworms and everything else, yes, all that stuff's gonna be taken out, and we're gonna put grass back. So,
Are we gonna put that fence on the line or a foot on us?
probably.
That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
Move it
Yeah.
1 foot over on us, so you can
I thought
have a
one-
problem in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This homeowner's good with it, the next one. might
Right.
be.
Yeah,
I'm gonna, yeah, the fence will be on that.
I'd put it 1 foot over on us.
Anyway, we'll get that
If
cleaned
we
up.
still got room to get through and everything. Yeah, there's no drive through there.
The fence will be on the county side.
That'd be the safest thing to do.
Yeah. Monday the 10th, we're gonna canvass ballots. Clay, Kurt, you'll be gone. I'll get Beth to come in and do it with us. She's done it before. I wanna ask you guys if I can price a trailer, put all my election stuff in, that we have to haul around. It took BG and I both our vehicles to get it out this time.
Would you just want one trailer to pull?
I just want a little enclosed trailer. Bruce has one out here, it's like 6 foot by 12 foot, I think he said. It's $3,200. But I want shelves built in it for my stuff, you know, the machines, the pole booths, the plexiglass, because we just have so much stuff we have to take now. And I'm always gonna have DG to help me do it. The guys, what vehicle did you say would pull it? That
We have our
Yukon.
Yukon in there, it's,
Would you be able to leave the equipment in there, and then you'd probably
I
store
would
it
leave
inside the
everything in
shed?
there except for the electronic machines, they'll come in here.
Yeah, and then maybe you could store it down there at the new building?
I don't know if there's room there, or Shirley Phillip has room somewhere.
Yeah.
I just gotta simplify this.
Then you're just wanting to look to get a price on it?
There's
well,
no
the
trailers in
carport
existence
is
now
empty,
that,
the overtop, if it's
like that,
holding
they're
on
locked up.
That we own.
The county owns anywhere.
I think the solid waste has a trailer, but it's like huge, I think.
It's Versace.
I just want just a little, just something I can manage.
10 footer.
I don't know if it's 10 or 12, but it's sitting out here. He said that one's sold, but he can get another one. I have enough in my reserve fund to pay for it. Still thinking on it, just wanted to see if it would be,
It's good to look into.
I think we'll look into it.
perfect. I'll get it to Bruce.
I do think you need to find a place to store it. inside.
Yeah,
Get it
I
out of
haven't-
the weather.
I'd like to see it stored inside and locked up building.
I don't know
just-
if there's room out there or, I'll find it.
I think wherever we gotta take it, we need to get it inside,
Yeah.
locked up.
I thought maybe we could just put it in the little lean-to thing here, but it'd be too tall. The one that's out there's too tall.
Yeah, I'd like to see it in a building that's
Okay.
locked, because, I mean, somebody comes, there could be a lot of valuable stuff, you know.
Even if you had to rent a space to lock it up, it would be
Okay.
worth it.
Yeah.
If you don't have it here.
I'll do some checking and get back to you.
Inside that big of one. Could we really do that at the fire station? I would have probably thought people might put it in there.
I would think so.
Surely there's some place to put it. It's not gonna be that big.
Yeah. I would think that you could find someplace.
Anything else? Mike?
I got a letter from the AG's office. Apparently, Senator Mary Jo Taylor requested a Attorney General's opinion. And I will just read the letter that she attached to her letter, and it'll probably explain everything. From your time on the Stafford County Economic Development Board, you are probably well aware of the efforts made by St. John and the Stafford County Economic Development to address housing issues in the city. Recently, the Stafford County Commission interpreted a statute relating to the assessment of ad valorem tax or property taxes against properties acquired or owned by the city land banks to give them discretionary authority to tax the properties. I believe their interpretation is incorrect. Unfortunately, their decision effectively requires the land bank to seek permission from the commission before acquiring property, severely hampering a tool the city has to clean up properties and expand its inventory of housing.
Is that regarding when they gave the property that owed back taxes to the land bank and then they just wanted us to forego it?
Right.
And we did do that, but we told them it'd be a case-by-case scenario.
Yeah, well, they've now, apparently,
Said you can't do that.
St. John and well, we don't know yet. I mean, St. John and the Economic Development Board have gone to Mary Jo Taylor, and she has now requested an opinion from the AG's office, and so that will be coming in the future, just FYI.
That will take several months to get around.
Per year.
Maybe after the first year.
Waiting on my numbers for 6 months, so.
Yeah, we had some for a year. Anything else? We'll adjourn.